Have you ever seen a performance so powerful it felt like it stopped time? Tonight, we're diving into one of the most talked about moments in recent music history. A moment that left an entire audience and a panel of seasoned judges absolutely speechless. This is the story of the masked singer who sang not just with their voice, but with their soul. It was the final round of the Starlight Voices competition. The air was thick with anticipation. We'd seen incredible talent all night, but nothing could have prepared us for what was coming next. The stage lights dimmed, and a lone figure walked out. They were dressed in a simple, dark outfit, their face completely hidden by an ornate, featureless silver mask. No name was announced, just silence. The crowd began to murmur. Who was this person? Was this some kind of gimmick? The judges exchanged puzzled glances. You could see the skepticism on their faces. They've seen it all, and a mask usually means the performer is hiding a lack of something else. But then, the first notes of the piano began to play a hauntingly beautiful melody, and a hush fell over the entire arena. The singer took a breath, and the voice that came out was indescribable. It was a voice that held a universe of emotion. It wasn't just technically perfect. It was raw, vulnerable, and filled with a pain that felt ancient and deeply personal. They were singing an original song, something no one had ever heard before. The lyrics spoke of loss, of searching for light in the deepest darkness, of finding strength in brokenness. Every single word, every note, seemed to land directly in the heart of each person listening. People in the audience started to tear up. Cameras panned to faces completely captivated, some with tears streaming down their cheeks. These weren't just tears of sadness. They were tears of understanding, of shared experience. It felt like the singer was telling everyone's secret story, the one they thought they were alone in. Let's talk about the judges for a moment. These are industry veterans, people who have heard thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of auditions. At first, they were analytical, listening for pitch, control, and technique. But a minute into the song, they put down their pens. Their professional facades crumbled. One judge, known for her tough-as-nails critiques, was openly weeping, trying to hide her face behind her notes. Another sat with his eyes closed, completely lost in the music, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek. The song built to a crescendo, the singer's voice soaring with a power that seemed impossible, filled with both anguish and a defiant hope. It was a cathartic release, a storm of emotion that washed over everyone. And then, as suddenly as it began, it ended. The final note hung in the air, vibrating with a profound and heavy silence. For what felt like an eternity, no one moved, no one clapped. It wasn't because they didn't like it. It was because they couldn't. They were still under the spell, processing what they had just witnessed. It was more than a song. It was a shared spiritual experience. The silence was the most powerful applause I've ever witnessed. Finally, one person in the back row stood up and started to clap. Then another and another, until the entire arena erupted into a thunderous, standing ovation that went on for minutes. The masked singer simply stood there, head bowed, as if absorbing the wave of emotion coming from the crowd. They didn't speak, didn't gesture. They just stood. When the applause finally subsided, the host walked back on stage, visibly shaken. He tried to speak, but his voice cracked. He turned to the judges, who were still trying to compose themselves. The first judge to speak simply said, "I have no words. In 20 years of doing this, I've never felt anything like that. That wasn't a performance. That was a prayer." The other judges echoed the sentiment. They didn't critique the vocals or the arrangement. They talked about how the song made them feel. They talked about how it reminded them of their own struggles, their own heartbreaks. The singer had connected with them on a deeply human level, breaking through the glitz and glamour of the competition. But the mystery only deepened. After the performance, the singer simply bowed and walked off stage. They didn't wait for the scores. They didn't do a post-performance interview. They just vanished. Backstage, the crew was in a frenzy. No one knew who the singer was. They had registered under a pseudonym, arrived alone, and left just as quietly. The internet exploded. The clip of the performance went viral overnight, with millions of views. Hashtags like #Mustanglen, #The Song That Healed trended for weeks. People from all over the world shared their own stories, explaining how the song had touched them. Veterans spoke of how it helped them with their PTSD. People grieving a loss said it gave them a sense of peace. Those struggling with their mental health said it made them feel seen and less alone. If you are struggling, please know there is help available. Reaching out is a sign of incredible strength. And you can connect with compassionate and trained individuals by calling or texting 988 in the US and Canada, or by finding a local crisis line in your country. You are not alone. The song did something remarkable. It created a global community of strangers, all connected by a shared emotional experience. Music has always had the power to heal, but this was on another level. It transcended language, culture, and background. To this day, the identity of the masked singer remains a mystery. Many have speculated, but no one has ever come forward, and maybe that's the point. By remaining anonymous, the singer allowed the music to be the star. The focus wasn't on fame, or a record deal, or a personality. It was purely on the art and the message within it. The mask ensured that we saw ourselves in the song, not the person singing it. It's a powerful reminder that the most profound connections we make are often through our shared vulnerabilities. That mysterious singer on that stage didn't just win a competition. They reminded millions of people of the power of music, the importance of empathy, and the beautiful, unbreakable strength of the human spirit. What did you think of the performance? Did it move you too? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more content that explores the incredible moments that move us. See you next time. Why did no one clap, even though everyone wanted to? The silence stayed. Not for 1 second, not for 2. Longer. The singer stood still at the center of the stage. The microphone rested near their chest. Their shoulders moved slowly with each breath. The judges did not speak. The crowd did not move. It felt like time had stopped. One judge pressed a hand against their face. Another looked down, 10 up. Again, eyes full. No words ready. The singer waited. Not asking for praise, not asking for comfort. Just waiting. The lights above softened even more. Warm tones filled the stage. The screen behind the singer changed again. This time, it showed a quiet morning. Soft light coming through a window. Dust floating in the air. Still no faces. Only feelings. The singer lowered the microphone slightly. Their hands shook now. Just a little, the silence broke. A breath, then a quiet sound. Not music. A sob. One of the judges wiped their eyes. This time, they did not hide it. The crowd noticed. Something inside the room shifted. The singer looked up. Their eyes met the judges. That was enough. The singer's face tightened. Their eyes filled. They looked away quickly, but it was too late. The moment had reached them too. A judge leaned forward. Their voice was soft. I felt that. Only 3 words. But they landed hard. Another judge nodded slowly, hands shaking as they held the desk. The singer listened. The crowd stayed quiet. No one wanted to interrupt. The judge spoke again. This wasn't just a song. Pause. It felt like a memory. The singer swallowed. Their lips pressed together. Still no words from them. The judge continued. I don't know your full story. Pause. But I felt every part of it. Tears fell now. Not fast. Not dramatic. Just honest. The singer covered their mouth. Their body leaned forward slightly, like they were holding something heavy inside. Another judge spoke, voice unsteady. You stood there alone. And you were brave. The word brave echoed. The singer nodded once. That was all they could do. The crowd finally reacted. Not loud. Not wild. A slow clap. One person. Then another. The applause grew. People stood up. Some clapped softly. Some wiped their eyes. The singer lowered their head. Tears fell now. They did not try to stop them. The applause grew louder. But it did not feel noisy. It felt warm. The singer looked up again. Eyes red. Face open. They spoke. Only a few words. I wrote this when I didn't think I could keep going. Their voice shook. They stopped. The judges listened closely. The singer continued. I didn't know if anyone would understand. They looked around the room, but now I know. They nodded once. That was all. No long speech, no details. The judges stood. All of them. They clapped harder now. The crowd followed. The lights brightened slowly. The screen behind the stage faded to black. The singer took a small step back, then another. They bowed slightly. Not for praise, but for respect. As they walked off the stage, the applause followed them. Not Chasin walking with them. Backstage, the noise softened. The singer leaned against a wall, closed their eyes, breathing deep. The song was over, but the feeling stayed. Out on the stage, the judges sat again. Quiet, thoughtful. One of them wiped their face once more. Another took a deep breath. That, one said softly, is why this stage matters. The crowd cheered again, but the loud part was over. People left their seats slowly, talking less, feeling more. Some held their phones but did not check them. Others hugged quietly. Outside, the night waited. Cars passed. Lights moved. Life continued. But something inside many people had changed. They would remember the silence before the song, the honesty in the voice, the tears that were not planned. They would remember how it felt to hear something real. And the singer? They walked into the quiet hallway. No lights, no crowd, just soft steps. For the first time in a long while, their shoulders felt lighter. Not because everything was fixed, but because they were heard. And sometimes that is in hog.